All right, for our last forever, we will never have another one again. Okay, that might not be true. I don't know. Video in this Coriolis series. We're going to talk about the Coriolis station itself, because why wouldn't we? It is the hub. It is the center. It is the vibrant life of what is the third horizon. It controls many, many facets of it, yet it is also distant and far away from many facets of the third horizon. So let's see what the Coriolis station offers you and your players in just a moment. We believe that role-playing games should take place in fantastic worlds. The focus of the game should be on role-playing and having a good time. The core values of #RPGate and any good tabletop group are escapism, not representation, entertainment over activism, and natural, organic inclusion, not forced diversity. The charity we support is the Wounded Warrior Project, a national, nonpartisan organization whose mission is to honor and empower wounded warriors. Please refer to the description below for the link to where you can make your hopefully tax-deductible donation. Join us Thursday and Saturday evenings on twitch.tv/Legion of Myth to watch Heathen Dog and his team of dirty casuals play multiplayer games for your mockery and enjoyment. Here on our YouTube channel, you can watch these game-related segments live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time, or check out the Friday Night Chill stream where our panel of guests opine, comment, and editorialize on the TTRPG hobby as a whole. Please like this video and leave a comment to appease the algorithm gods. Share this video on your favorite social media platforms to help us peer out of the shadows cast over us. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to Legion of Myth for more tabletop RPG goodness. Boom, there we are with our Coriolis book. The last time we're going to look at that cover. Until the next time. All right, 249. StreamYard has been changing. Like, I couldn't find the order where the Coriolis book, I just presented it, 5 minutes ago? 2 days ago? But I couldn't find it in the list. It took a while. So, all right, let's, 249, we're going to talk about Coriolis, and once again, I have the note card of doom here that's going to tell me what I want to talk about. Page 250. Let's start, all right, yep, we're going to start here. I am not going to read about all the population. Does it really matter that there are 521,465 permanent residents? Crap, I'm a liar now because I just read the population. But we're going to talk a little bit here. The main thing, honestly, I won't be angry if you skip to the end, because the end is going to be, we'll call it the bullet point list of everything that we talked about here today.
Okay.
Or things that I missed. Anywho, the Coriolis space station is the hub of the Third Horizon in more ways than one. It was from this place that the Zenithians brought the Horizon back to life. Remember, there was a big war, and it was almost in cultural decline. The station lies at the intersection of all the major trade routes and houses both the Council of Factions and many other rulers. I'm actually going to do this right now just to remind you guys. Oops, is it before then? Yeah. Let's zoom out. Remember, Coriolis is right here. Can you see the mouse? Yeah, you should be able to. Kua. Coriolis is right over Kua, right in the center. All roads lead to Kua. The Coriolis. Three, I think. Hold on. There we go. Wow, I went way past. All right, the Coriolis station was constructed from the corpse of the Ark ship Zenith that arrived in the Third Horizon some 60 cycles ago. So about 60 years ago, they've popped in here and they said, hey, we're not alone. What the heck? Why aren't we alone? Portions of the Zenith's components and gear were taken by the Kossar's family. Didn't somebody say I'm supposed to pronounce it Quasar? I don't know. Family down to the monolith on Kua, and some went to the Draconites when they broke the chain of command on board and vanished into the void. Remember what they did to why they're like, yeah, we're out? They freed all the people that were in hibernation. Like, what are we gonna do? We came here and it's populated already. I don't know what to do with this. Let's just let everybody go, you dicks. And they're like,
Force
bye!
the issue. Ha ha ha! Run away.
Yeah, stop talking about it. Let's just do something. Well, they did something. So, to the left in the remnants were the seconds in command, the Eurydice family, Eurydice clan, sorry, and the newly awoken colonists who together formed the consortium. Coriolis was constructed as a signal to the entire horizon that a new era was dawning, and because it was a practical use of the Zenith's cadaver. By the way, if you're like, how could one ship come here and do this? I can't overstate, even though I've never stated, the cultural decline that the Third Horizon was in after the Portal Wars. We didn't cover the Portal Wars because I felt that just dove into a rabbit hole we didn't need to know about too much. But since it's in the past, it's way in the past, but it was in a cultural decline. The Zenith gets here, Coriolis forms, and they're like, you know what? Maybe there is something to this. The leftovers became the net. No, that is not the internet. It is a place of scum and villainy. The reloading ports that float outside the station, and we'll talk about those towards the end here. In a show of Zenithian fellowship, Coriolis was parked in a geostationary orbit above the monolith, with the spire pointing towards the top of the black column below. This is how it all began. Now, I'm not going to read through this entire timeline. That would be crazy. But we will look at the Zenith arrives in the Dabaran system. That was 5 years before 0cc. The consortium begins... What's that?
Hang on. Just so people can appreciate the scale. The story just said that when the Zenithian ship got here, not only did they scavenge it to create an entire space station, but they also used parts of it to build up places around a monolith, and I'm sure homes and businesses and factories and whatever on the ground itself. There was some stuff there already, sure, but a lot of the ship was repurposed in several areas. Well, how is this possible? It's one ship, right?
It's a huge ship.
Think of it like Spaceball 1. The whole beginning of Spaceballs, the first gag was the whole fact that the ship took like 3 minutes to go from one end of the screen to the other. Exactly. So think of the Zenithian colony ship like Spaceball 1. It was big enough to where it can be split into 3 space stations if it wanted to. So yeah, there you go.
In 0, the consortium begins the construction of Coriolis. Desmond Eurydice becomes the station's first governor. Good, I skip away. Most of this history isn't necessary for this video, but you can see there's a bunch of history there. But 41, I kind of already talked about this a little bit, but the Order of Pariah blocks the portals in their home system, Zalos. But after being pressured by the other council members, back down and guarantee that the Free Trader Treaty will be respected. Ships can pass through Zalos again, but are heavily escorted and not permitted to dock. Reports slip out of the system about horrible events on Zalos, but the Order has no comment on this matter, as it is an internal affair. The Council has had to accept the situation since the Order lifted the blockade. Basically, it's North Korea. Well, religious North Korea. Yeah. 60. The ghosts from Xene are discovered, and the Foundation makes the first formal contact with the specters from the depths of the gas giant. The governor orders the guard to perform a series of purges of the cellar, as has become a hiding place for slumbers and semi-intelligences that refuse to accept the laws of the station. Kemal Degosian becomes the 9th governor of Coriolis.
Freedom has its price.
Really, the only reason I read that one was for the Ghost of Xene part, because in 61, emissary alum from the Xene arrives at Coriolis and is granted observer status on the council. You have a ghost on the council now. Contact with the colonies and the Towan system is lost, in the consortium, the colonial agency, and the Foundation organize a rescue mission. For some reason, I thought that was going to talk about the Order of Pariah shutting their stuff down again. Anyway. All right, page... It was 250.
Wait a minute. This is for everyone who may think of this. The Order of Pariah, they have one system. They closed off their one system. Now, why is this important? Well, what is their one system? What's it called?
I forget the name of it. Where is it again? 41.
41.
Order of Pariah blocks, Zalos.
Zalos. Okay. Now, if they are at the end of a space lane, no one would care. Screw them. But they may be, in the middle of two other people, two other deals. Where is it?
It's right here. Can you see where?
Yeah. You literally can't get to 3 other systems if you close off Zalos. That's not tenable. That is not something that the community as a whole can tolerate. I mean, if you look at it, Vera, Zeb,
Zip, yeah.
and Terrazis. Oh, okay, no. They can be accessed from Kua, but it would take months longer to
Well,
get all
also
those
this is a
jumps.
dangerous area. That's why it's all red.
Oh, okay.
So there's
It's a
probably
dangerous
some pirates and so forth out there.
Okay, so it if they were at the end, if they were say move over to the left or right, move the picture over to the left or right. I don't care. Look,
I'll
look
zoom
at
out a
a
little bit. How about
tail
that?
end system. I need all the way left, all the way right.
Like
There,
Inu?
right there. Yeah. If they were there, no one would care. Screw you then. You're not affecting anyone else. If you want to take your ball and go home, whatever, we don't care. But no, they're in the middle, which means commerce through there is vitally important. And no one's going to have that nonsense.
What I like here is if I don't know how populated Yanu is, but I don't ever want to go there because you have to go one of these two ways because you have to go through Narmada, right?
Mhm.
Well, you have an unstable portal here and you have an unstable portal down here.
So it's a crapshoot.
You know what? I'm happy where I am. Yeah, but we live under a dictatorship. That's great.
Yeah.
It's better than living with a genie in my head.
Yeah, with a 50-50 shot of me either going insane or dying horribly Event Horizon style.
Right?
I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that. I'm fine.
All
Dictators
right,
rule.
Okay, let's now for most of these sections when it comes to the space station, where the heck am I? I'm not going through what is the promenade, what is the Spice Plaza. I'm just gonna go through like the first paragraphs.
Okay.
Just give you an idea of what goes on in the major portions of Coriolis. So you have the ring. The ring of the station is huge, and running along its whole extent is the promenade, the bustling street of boutiques and shops that characterize Coriolis. The promenade is best accessed from one of the 4 plazas located where each of the 4 spokes connect to the ring. Taking a taxi or grav chair is an excellent way to get out there if you can pay. Dude, I'm not running around that whole thing. It's big. The promenade is usually very crowded, making grav chairs, rickshaws, or walking the best modes of transportation.
Okay. Very much like Deep Space Nine at this point, because they also have a promenade, and it also is where all the shops are, and that's where much of the show takes place. So yeah,
Well, I think
you just
that's
picture that, and you've got an idea.
Isn't that what promenade means?
Yeah. Well, but promenade means the place where you walk around.
Yeah.
But other nonsense. Yeah.
You want your stores where the foot traffic's going to be.
Exactly, right? Foot traffic is key. Yeah.
All right, so you got the promenade, as it says there. You got the Spice Plaza. What's over locations and services in the spaceport. If you want to pause that to read it, I'm going to scroll over here. Everything can be bought for Burr in the promenade. If it's that dull, I don't know if I want to be. This gives you an idea how
the scale is amazing.
Yes.
This is crazy.
So remember when I said that I don't want to walk around this whole station?
No, I get it now. Yeah, I would want a jetpack at this point.
Yeah, right. And each one of these, it has people that you can encounter there and some things about them. Again, it's good game master advice to get things moving on, or you can do your own thing. You have the Spring Plaza, livestock and pets. Yep. The Arcology Alley, Market Plaza. Lots of things here. Yep, I'm scrolling down. Hopefully you're not getting epilepsy. The Ozone Plaza. That just sounds weird.
It does. Sounds like it's on the higher end of the station.
Not one of these I was actually going to read. Or did I pass it? Oh, I was going to read the Foundation. Okay. But if I pass it, I don't care anymore. Tattoo Alley. Oh, apparently I passed it. I don't care anymore. There's a place on there that sounded more interesting until I read it the second time. Then it wasn't all that interesting. It's called the Foundation Infotheria. And it's basically, it started off like that's the place where the anti-religious, the atheists go. Mm-hmm. But then I just come to find out, no, it's more like a sinner's den is what it is. You can only get in there if you're invited in. And that's where weird business dealings are done. Maybe, a little bit of boobies, whatever. So it wasn't as cool as what it originally sounded like it was going to be. So not stressed. The core. The ring is very obviously a place mainly for commerce, but the core houses both several important administrative functions and a rich life of culture and entertainment. core is also open and airy in comparison to the tight, crowded spaces of the rest of the station. Do you want me to scroll up to that picture again and show you how tight and crowded that was?
Yeah, that didn't seem tight and crowded to me. I mean, I look up and the ceiling is so high that it looks like atmosphere. I don't feel crowded.
And
So,
there's a big space in between people.
yeah.
The core plaza is located in the heart of the station, open all the way up to the lower levels of the spire. And once again, we've got the core plaza. I already mentioned that. Again, that's when I think of a space station,
I don't think this.
that's spacious. Well, that's the Ozone Plaza right there.
That is crazy. You're not even on a space station at that point. From this picture, I would think, oh, it's a gloomy day somewhere in England. That's what I
Right.
think this is. Some English city.
Oh yeah. What's funny is even if you look at like Star Trek, those ships are way too spacious compared to what a real ship. Enterprise tried to do better, but yeah, the Enterprise in Next Generation is a luxury compared to
Yes,
like
yeah.
any
It
ship
was
that you ever.
it was actually made to be that spacious and that grand because not only was it the design for the flagship, but it also held families. It was also a diplomatic center, so they wanted people visiting a ship to feel at awe, to be a little taken aback at all of the wasted space and us not talk about it.
Well, even the original Enterprise compared to a ship where lots of places you're shimmying sideways. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
that it's actually unusual to have that kind of space. So, but
Yeah,
we have
if you
the
don't have
little.
structural integrity fields, you can't really do that because you need everything to be thick. All the walls need to be very, very thick, and that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for empty space in the middle.
Right. So you have the headquarters of the Coriolis Guard and the Judicators, the Bulletin Complex. A lot more. Look at that.
Again, this is not inside, man. I look at this picture and I'm like, oh, this is some kind of power generation or factory on a planet's surface.
Look at all these people in here. Can you see the dots? Those are people.
Jesus.
It's, by the way, Coriolis is big. I'd really like
Yeah.
to know. Without being all like autistic here, I'd love to see like a scientist look at that and be like, "What's the gravity? What would the gravity of Coriolis do to the planet Kua?"
Oof. It all depends how far away it is. And
Yeah.
they probably did the math on that. But I want you to think no, I want you to do this in your game. If you ever run Coriolis, you bring up the idea that before the spaceship was dismantled and repurposed to be the space station, it was a transformer and could turn into Megamaid. just make that canon in your game.
Well, he said Megamaid. I was thinking Unicron, but then he went Megamaid. Okay, Megamaid wins. Look at this. Popular shows in case you want to get into, again, spend a lot of time on here. This is, I had this written on the wrong page. So, yeah, this isn't as cool as I thought it was, so I'm just going to skip it.
Okay.
Let's look at more of the art. Like, this is the dome
Again,
of the This is
when
inside
you're in
the
a
ship.
space station and you look up, if you don't see a bulkhead, you're not on a space station.
Right?
That's it. I'm sorry.
Museum of History. I mean, you can put a museum in there. You got room for all types of stuff. Student
A
district,
museum?
university district. Look at all the schools. These are just the schools on one space station. It's big. Have we mentioned that it's kind of big?
Yeah, we've mentioned it's big.
Tube station to the academy. It has a subway. It says tube station. That's, that means subway, right?
Yeah.
Garden of the Seekers. More people you can meet. Okay, the Samaritan Sanatorium. We did talk about that, but what is the Order of Pariah? Is that who does this? It's not saying quickly there, but I think it's the Order of Pariah puts that on, where the poor go there, and it's kind of like a homeless shelter / food, food bank. All right, let's go to the next one. Now we got the Spire. The Spire is altogether different from the rest of the station. There is more
open. Son of a...
There's more open space, more light, and less people here than in the ring or the core. The ceilings are higher in the ventilation system. Make sure the air is fresh and dry. The hollow sky is the hollow sky. Oh, that's what that is. That's a hollow sky. That's not even a real sky. Okay, so
all skies are hollow, dumbass.
Well, it's holographic. Is brighter here than down below, and the street lights in the narrow street keep the shadows away. The Spire consists of some 200 floors. 200. The lower ones are numbered from 1 upwards. Okay, while the higher levels have fancy names like Thyr, Arda, Luna, okay, whatever, who cares?
Lower
Which is
1, 7, 14.
Well, and I'm going to floor Alcamara, which is the top floor where the restaurant with almost the same name can be found. The lower floors are usually more or less controlled chaos of corridors and streets running between markets, recreational facilities, shopping centers, and other public places. How many people did we say were on the station? 500,000.
Yeah. Babylon 5 only had 250,000. This has 500,000, and there's more space. No one's running out of space.
The station's commoners reach Aspire via elevators from the core that run to the lower floors. I hope they have good elevator music. To get even farther up, one has to change elevators, or, as the wealthy do, complete it in a comfortable grav chair or palanquin through the private shafts led upwards. Hey, Hindog, can you carry me up there, please? Yeah, thanks. I'm going to be sitting on my box. You and your friends can just,
Sitting on your box. I'm going to kick you in your box. Get out of here.
Few places of interest in the Spire are described below. All right, there's Alcamar's restaurant, previously mentioned. Oh, hey, and there's the restaurant there. Everybody's smiling. Look at you. All happy.
Especially that guy on the left. He's super happy.
Yeah, right? Or he just got kicked in the nuts. He's like, oh!
There it is.
Regulars there. Obviously, we got some names. The Arboretum, Place of Hegemony, or Palace, I'm sorry. Residence of the Governor. Scroll down. The Docks of the Coriolis Guard.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain the Residence of the Governor takes up at least half of a single floor. Because that sounds right.
I don't know. I mean, that'd be like, what, a county?
Yeah.
The size of a county in real life. The cellar, other than the plebeians who do maintenance on the station's life support, and the members of the guard on purge patrols, no one visits the cellars of Coriolis.
Oh.
Poor cellar. If you have business in the cellar, put on some protective gear and buy a gun. As the gravity down here is unstable, it is good to be acquainted with Zero G. This is just like, I'm pausing in each one of these sentences just to let some of this stuff sink in. Like, so buy protective gear and a gun. Anti-grav doesn't work. So, all right. Roughly speaking, the cellar can be divided into higher, less decrepit part, and lower, very worn down part. It's not sounding good at all. What are you talking about? No. The floors of the cellar are not named or numbered, and the only maps that exist are handmade by the service personnel with the bitter jobs of tending to the systems down here.
Which they don't do very well. It could be because all of their maps suck.
You got the upper cellar, the lower cellar. Rapidly.
Okay, wait. So here's the thing. In the cellar, there's the good part, which is categorized as not as bad as the bad part, and then there's the bad part. those are the two parts.
Oh wait, you forget. Then there's the sewers.
Oh, I don't even count that. That's where Leela comes from, and where I poop. I don't go down there. That's where my poop goes. That's where the Korean toilet ghost lives. I don't want to go there.
Well, we need somebody to take care of the Korean ghost. Have a nice day.
Yeah, not me.
Remember what was that game? Elysium, Mutant Elysium? Just kick it down. Boom.
Oh no. Screw you guys.
The net. All right, now we're going to get into something a little different here. The net follows Coriolis like a shadow. Its spindly and seemingly fragile construction is actually the Zenith's old skeleton, nowadays supporting commerce rather than an actual ship. From afar, the net appears as a strange jumble of light and dark shapes against the starlight. A steady stream of spaceship comes and goes, and as one comes closer to the enormity, the net becomes clear. The old ribs of the Zenith, metal beams several kilometers long, act as an outer perimeter, but during the 50-odd cycles since the completion of Coriolis, the net has been rebuilt, expanding and breaking down in different sections. Breaking down in different sections at the same time, which makes the borders of it far from clear. The reason why I'm scrolling one line at a time here is there's a part I want to stop before you see it.
Okay.
I want to see what you say. At the intersection of the beams are hubs of docks, loading ports, and service stations. Heavy freighters bearing the logo of the consortium rest against the beams, while their precious cargo is redistributed into smaller vessels to be taken down to Kua. Banged up free trader ships glitter like tiny pearls in the dark as the welders mend the damages from their last trip. Stevedores and Exos move across the ship and the beams in a never-ending dance. Would you want to work here?
You know what? It's better than a high rise because no gravity, right? You're not going to fall. That's something. And as long as you have a lifeline or a jet booster or whatever, you're not going to get lost. I'm sure it's dangerous in other ways, but unlike everywhere else, like on the station, you have to worry about someone stabbing the back for some other reason or another. In here, you're all alone in space. It's just me, this beam, and some welders, and that's my world now.
I thought you were going to go in a different direction than that.
Oh,
I thought you were going to go in the direction. Hey, this is a great way to get some good stuff. Make some bribes, accidentally fix a ship. Maybe, hey, if I tell you where the ship's going to break down, are you going to, give me a little some of the booty?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're like a corrupt cop. You're like, oh, geez, it seems you have a taillight out. That's going to be a fine. There's no taillight out. Smash. Oh no, there's a taillight out.
Yeah, out on the net, nobody can hear you bleed. The pilots of the net. To most people, the net looks like a wild and unpredictable mess of tons of metal and explosive fuel. A disaster of epic proportions just waiting to happen.
Well, yeah, but it's far over there. It was put over there for a reason. Here's the station where you and your family live, everyone everyone you care about. And then here's the giant explosive time bomb. It's way over there.
Yes, but if you're working out there on the time bomb.
Well, yeah, but everyone else is safe.
This is true, and such a disaster would surely have happened already if it weren't for the pilots. Who work the net? There we go. Pilotage is an invaluable cog in the gears of commerce, and working the net means working at the very heart of trade. The pilots have their own guild independent from any external interference. It's because they're way out there. And what are you going to do?
It's not just because they're way out there. They literally cannot be influenced by any single other group or small gathering of the groups because that would ruin it for everyone. It would cause a war, and then it could be damaged or destroyed, and that would wreck everyone.
So this is the part that I thought came earlier for whatever reason. That's why I was hiding it, but now it's on the screen. So their code calls for them to always act impartially. And their priority is always to make sure everything runs smoothly and effectively. And in your head right now, you're saying, sure, right, okay, whatever.
Yeah, sounds good.
This is how it works in theory, at least, but not always in reality. Although the guild is very quick to suspend members who take bribes that favor one company's traffic over others. What does that tell you?
That it still happens.
Don't get caught. So for you game masters out there, for you players out there, if you get caught, there is punishment, and you're not going to talk your way out of it.
No. If you get caught, you probably get spaced or some shit. I don't know. It's the equivalent of spaced, even though you don't die. You don't die right away, but you're going to because you can't do anything anymore. You lost your job, you lost your status, you probably got fined, and you lost all your life savings if you had any.
It's like in one of those states that's totally union. If you're not in the union, you can't work.
You're not working. Yeah.
So my point isn't that, well, I can try it, I can do this. Yeah, you can. There's nothing to say you can't try. If you get caught, you're going to be out on your own. And don't yell at the game master. And game masters, you've got to hold them to it. But maybe they can make a successful racket out there. Oh man, those engines, I thought they were repaired. I guess they're worse off than I thought. Maybe you should have greased the palms a little better. Where are we? So this stern practice means you will find plenty of ex-pilots in the shadier bars of the station, drowning their sorrows after losing what is actually one of the best paid jobs a common worker can get.
Yeah. I mean, think of it this way. How many jobs could you have that put you not only at the center of interplanetary commerce, the responsibility of thousands and thousands of people every day, and the autonomy and authority to do it in the most efficient and seamless way that you can imagine? No one can screw with you. As long as you get crap done, you're right, they're wrong. That's it. You are above reproach until you're not. Don't be the latter. Don't be that guy.
I don't want to be these guys.
You're pulling the heave.
That's what I was thinking too. All right, one more thing, and then we're gonna get to the. I think it's gonna get to the end. We're gonna look at crime. Oh, there's a go. I don't care. I thought about covering the government, but if you care that much, get the book, get the game. That means you're already interested in it. Where is crime? Crime. Adjudicators. Uh-oh. Crime. Okay. Despite the efforts of the guard and adjudicators, crime is widespread on the station. It is most noticeable around the four plazas on the ring and in the Malukad, all places where the gangs of the syndicate operate. The guard and adjudicators try to keep a low profile here so as to not provoke confrontation unless innocents are in danger, although they have a rather wide definition of innocent. The cellar has no police presence whatsoever, but then again, civilized people never go down there.
Yeah, fair.
This paragraph was just to reinforce. Heathen Nugget already said it a couple times, but to reinforce the fact that the station is generally safe. How do I say this? It's like going to Paris or Rome. It's safe as long as you are aware of your surroundings. Don't have your wallet hanging out. Don't let your kids run free. Whatever.
Just like any major city, there are places where you don't go unless you either A, have to, B, forced to, or C, accidentally got to for no reason whatsoever. And you messed up and you get out of there as soon as possible. Only a tourist who didn't do any research or doesn't have any friends would just walk into these places. So you can make an argument that only the stupid get caught in these joints. And it's your own damn fault.
Now, you can make it as safe or as horrible as you want. I think, to me, what I took away from this is this. If the characters are looking for trouble, they can find trouble. Yes. If they're not looking for trouble, but, it's time for something to happen, you can bring trouble to the characters. If nobody's looking for trouble and you don't feel like having trouble, you don't have to have it. That's kind of how I took this entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, there was a comedian, I forget his name, but back, when he was younger comedian, because all younger comedians do drugs. That's pretty much it. And he said when he was in a new town, didn't know anything, didn't know where to go to score, he would just pop on the local news, and he would look for a drug bust, and then he would go one block in any direction, and he'd be able to buy drugs. It's like that. There are places like that on the station. You shouldn't go there, so you don't, unless you want trouble. Then you do.
Or you're new.
Or you're new and you accidentally walk there. It happens.
Can I zoom this out?
Usually it happens once.
I want this to fill the whole screen, but that's too much. How about can I do 280? Does it let me type in here? It does. I did that before. All right. This is going to be the end of the episode. We're going to cover all important facts about Coriolis. This is how this is like the bullet point of everything that either we talked about or didn't talk about, whatever, but it's going to wrap everything up. This is what you need to know about Coriolis. And then our series is over. I did all that work to get it, and then I'm zooming in again. If you are new to the station, Coriolis will offer plenty of sites and activities, but there are a few things all new arrivals should know. This is your indoctrination briefing. This is your newcomer briefing.
Yes.
Fur and cash. Monetary transactions on Coriolis are usually handled electronically by using tags. We didn't cover tags. There's a picture of one that I scrolled over earlier. What do they call the shadow? Chips. Yeah, cred stick. There you go. Although smaller payments can, of course, be made in cash, it is wise to have two tags, one for information, licenses, addresses, insurance, medical records, etc., and one for your money. A transactor is a safe medium in which, if you wish to keep everything in one place, is locked to your biocode. Ordinary tags are only protected by a numeric code. And you know what? If you don't have the RFID blocker, you're going to get your PIN taken from you. So
yeah, so that's the way it is. So the long and short of this, if you want to, equate that to the real world, the idea is, hey, if you come here, take your ID out of your wallet and put it in a different pocket. That's basically it. It's just, pickpocket proofing. So sure, they're going to get something from you, but not everything.
The info terminals. On Coriolis supply people on the station with all sorts of useful information, and they're veritable gold mines to a data spider. What's a data spider, you ask? Well, guess what? It was like episode 2 or 3, and we talked about the different character classes, or whatever they're called, professions in this game. Data spider is your computer, your white hat hacker, because of course you wouldn't be the bad guy, would you?
No.
All information on the InfoNet will sooner or later leak out, even private messages from forums and password-protected areas. The faction's communications use the same network, but generally have stronger encryption. The station's security and defense systems run on a separate encrypted network that can only be accessed by the terminals inside the administrative services, the headquarters of the Guard, and a few other places. Only here, but a few other places.
Only but other places too. Yeah, okay. You just dumbass.
Attempts to get at this information are criminal acts and will trigger swift reprisal from the adjudicators.
Sure.
Is that it? Oh, I thought that was longer. Okay, let's go to column 2. Work. Obviously, if you're here, you're unemployed, right? That's my story.
Or, or in between jobs, as they say.
In between, there we go. In between jobs. Anyone is free to come and work. Hey, but after next week, if the government isn't funded, I'll be in between jobs.
You'll be in between jobs, yeah.
Anyone is free to come and work on Coriolis, but to gain access to basic healthcare, you need to purchase a work permit. These are supplied by the administrative services in the core at a cost of 100 burr per CC.
Okay, so they have universal healthcare. That's great, but you have to pay $100 to quote unquote become a temporary citizen, I guess is the thing.
An allowed worker.
Yeah, which I imagine would be a temporary citizen. Okay, it's fine.
Businesses. There are no mandatory taxes on Coriolis. How do they keep it running?
But
if you wish to start a business, you'll need to pay for a business license, right?
Oh, there it is.
The license must be renewed every cycle, and the cost depends on the type of your business and the game master.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you have a lot of money, don't let Game Master Schlo know it. Hide it in a diaper. He'll never take it.
Okay.
I'm not better.
He played you guys, okay?
Maybe no, he played you, dumbass. He played you. He purposely transferred all of his silver and gold coins into
elemental coins,
such high denominations that it convinced you that he couldn't even spend it.
No, he convinced you guys. He made
so you didn't take it from him. That's exactly why he did it. Ask him.
Well, that might be why he did, but he was the one that made you guys give him blood promises when you borrowed like 2 gold from him.
Don't lump me into that shit. I always said no.
Fair. And he was willing to sleep outside and take a penalty for it.
Yeah. All to keep all of his money from you.
Hey, you know what? If he wanted to suffer that, he can have it. Housing. If you intend to stay on the station for a longer period of time, renting a room or a module in a family-run boarding house would be a good idea. Unless you're Garthon, then just sleep outside and you won't give me your money.
Gutter. Yeah. You actually have a skill for gutter sleep. That's great.
He took penalties. As the small businesses generally cannot afford any hollow or modulate advertising, they can be tricky to find compared to regular hotels. Staying in a hotel for more than a few days will be very expensive, however, unless you choose one of the cheap coffin-style hotels common in the spaceports. Buying your own living module is expensive, but a very good investment. Dude, I'd love to have somebody who's trained in reading for commercials read this page. Here at Coriolis Airlines, we believe that you are our business. The laws of the station is enforced. The laws of the station is enforced. Ooh, that was a tough one to. The laws of the station are enforced by the Coriolis Guard, who answers to the governor. Who answer to the governor?
Who answer to? Oh my God!
Yeah,
there's so many problems with that sentence. I'm surprised it didn't just try and shank my eyes.
For serious crimes, there's a special division, the adjudicators, who work directly under the criminal courts. Both the Guard and the adjudicators are mandated to sentence criminals at the scene for numbers of crime.
Oh my God!
Judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah, Judge Dredd, baby. That's great.
Oh yeah, Judge Dredd. I am the law. The Guard can order corporal punishment such as whippings or public humiliation. Hey, this is an Arabic game.
Yep.
The adjudicators can order. I'm okay with public humiliation, though. I think we need more of that. I really do. The adjudicators can order public mutilations.
Ooh.
The adjudicators can order public mutilations and also sentence someone to death if they can justify it. Who's going to say no?
Yeah, who's going to say no? They're the judges. They just go, yeah, he's guilty.
You can't do that. You're next.
Yes, I can. Guess what? He's guilty.
You're an accomplice. What?
But stand next to him now.
Incarceration on the station is always short and reserved for cases of public intoxication. There we go. Or lunacy. By the way, I was thinking there are no prisons on Coriolis.
No.
There are holding cells, but there are no prisons. Something to note. I skipped that section, but just so you're worried about, prison sentences, nope, not there. Longer sentences are served in forced labor camps on Kua. Fines are common, often in addition to other punishments. Suicide is a crime that leads to confiscation of all assets to prevent people from indebting themselves and then committing suicide to save their families from repossession.
Wow.
I kind of like that law.
Oh, no, because the black sheep Uncle Jerry just decided to borrow a whole bunch of money and spend it all on a hooker named Mickey Mounds, and then killed himself. And now I got to pay for it. He was like my third uncle once removed. And
okay, so this is all based on one thing.
Bullshit.
It depends on where probate. If it's immediate family, I say, hey, you're screwed. But if it's probate should end at the immediate. The wife. If you're the legal guardian, if it was
wife,
a kid,
parents or children, that's it. Oh, I'm sorry, wife, parents, children, siblings. That should be all.
Yeah.
Not cousins and aunts and uncles and all that crap. No. But that's not what it says here. It just says family.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And the one other caveat
solid.
I'd make to what you said is only adult children. I don't want to burden a 10-year-old because dad was stupid.
Well, someone's responsible for that 10-year-old is probably gonna be another family member, and that person's gonna get screwed. So by shit rolling downhill, that kid's gonna be screwed.
And the last thing, healthcare. Hey, through the work permit, you have access to several private medical facilities on the station. Awesome. There are usually block doctors. Oh, I thought that was the last one. Oh crap! There's another page here. I thought it was one page. They're usually doctors are in larger residential areas. There we go. Those without a work permit can visit the Samaritan Sanatorium and its adjacent hospital.
Okay, so basically what it's saying is you can go to your local clinic, free, or you can go to the area hospital, also free.
Well, you can go to this Samaritan Sanatorium if you don't have.
I call that area hospital.
Okay. Icon chapels can be found everywhere across the station. The preachers are there at your service in exchange for some small gift. The Church of the Icons can also help you in their dome in the core, but reserve more extensive aid for their members. Membership is free, however. Where do I sign up? All you have to do is get on your knee and transportation. Most people in the center of the station use the ring tube for longer stretches of transportation. The tube runs around the ring and into the core through each of the 4 spokes. There are 5 tube stations, 1 on each of the ring plazas and 1 in the core. However, taxis are more expensive. Hover taxis, there we go. Hover taxis are more expensive, but can take you anywhere in the core, on the ring, or up to the spire via the grav shafts. Private vehicles require their owners to purchase expensive vehicle license, so if you want your Hummer in there, you're going to be taking up some space, and that's going to cost you a pretty penny. But you know what? It's a sign of your opulence. I've got my own car. In fact, my guard in front of me, my guard behind me have their own cars too. I is rich. Bikes, rickshaws, and palanquins are license-free, but ground loaders, grav chairs, and grav craft are not. Crawlers are only allowed in the station for sanitation transport companies and for the guard and the adjudicators. So either you're picking up poop or you're picking up poopy people. Weapon laws and self-defense. All right, is there a Second Amendment on Coriolis? Let's find out. All weapons require licenses that cost the same amount as the weapon itself per year.
Holy crap.
Heavier weaponry and weapon systems are not allowed on the station. Persons convicted of violent crimes cannot purchase weapons license.
Okay.
The self-defense laws on the station state that everyone has the right to defend themselves and the property from an attack, but that the defense violence should be proportionate to the threat. I thought he's going to kill me. It's rare for someone to be found guilty of excessive use of force, however, unless the person used an illegal weapon. Okay. That's a whole different crime, by the way. I don't know why. Okay, whatever.
Well, no, I mean, if you used an illegal weapon, you are guilty of something. They're just going to add on as much stuff it takes to kill you.
That's fair. It's just like in the States, if you're a convicted felon, and you shoot somebody with a weapon that you're not allowed to have, if it was still a legal defense, like you are still allowed to use deadly force in that defense, you will not be convicted of the Deadly Force Act because that was allowed. You might be convicted of having a weapon you weren't allowed to have, though.
Yeah, you weren't.
And usually that's a probation violation. You're going back to prison. But but the point that I'm making there is like found guilty of excessive use of force, that wouldn't come up because technically, even though you weren't allowed to have the weapon, you are allowed to use that level of force. Sights. Coriolis is a wondrous sight in its own right, but a visit to the Dome of the Icons is recommended if you wish to experience something out of the ordinary. The Foundation's Museum of History and Spire Plaza are must-sees. Careful advanced planning could also land you a reservation at Alcamar's. All I can see when I say this is Alcazar's from Futurama.
Really?
The restaurant?
The spice guy.
Yeah, the Neptunian, yeah.
Yeah,
or
okay.
Maybe he's not Neptunian, but...
Bam!
Yeah, exactly. Holidays and festivals. There are 3 major holidays on Coriolis. The Founding, the Cyclade. Oh, that's the name of the second book. And the Pilgrimaria. The Founding is a celebration of... How many pages is this? Oh, there it is. Oh, my God. The construction of the station, establishing the office of the governor. You know what? I don't care about the holidays anymore, do you?
No.
Okay, let's go to how to blend in on Coriolis. Support the governor. Yay, you! Who? Where am I? Yay, Coriolis! The Council of Factions and the Will of the People. Those don't sound one and the same to me.
No, they don't.
Accept diversity. And understand that through this, others will accept you.
Doubtful.
Praise the icons.
Someone doesn't know how people work.
Praise the icons and give proper sacrifice before important decisions and as thanks for a blessed life, lest your actions reflect the icon calendar.
Yeah.
Participate in holidays and festivals.
Okay.
Never speak well of Dabran, Mira, or any other place falsely purporting to be the center of the horizon. Yeah, but Dabran's the entrance point into the third horizon. So,
all right, so everyone, if you want to fit in, you have to be a mild version of your area's soccer hooligan. Okay.
Well, you have to be a Coriolis nationalist.
Yeah, basically.
And that is it. I hope that was enough information to give you an understanding of the space station, how big it is, what goes on there. And really, I thought this last part summed it up really well. It kind of just talked about, it was almost like the tour guide version of it.
Okay. So we only have 4 starred comments. Either everyone was listening to you with great fervor or they didn't give a crap what you were talking about.
We gained a couple of viewers, so we're
Yeah, I'm not going to say which one, but I'm going to say that Ghost360 says, I have so many books, including Coriolis, and I'm thankful you've been covering it.
It's awesome. No, the commentary I've received about Coriolis so far has been much more positive than the Mutineer Zero, and it's because I followed the suggestion that a couple people gave me. One was pretty vocal about it. It was like, look, if you're going to do a deep dive. Don't skip so much. Like, okay. And so this one made a conscious effort, even there were times like, I was like, I don't really need to do this. Nope. Even he was that first or second video. You were really on my case about what is that? What is that? Like,
yeah, I really was. Yeah.
But that helped out because that's people wanted to see more about what this book has to offer. Obviously, you still have to buy the book in order to play the game. So I'm not losing sales for him. If anything, I hope I'm gaining sales for him. So I like Coriolis. I like it better than Alien. Outside the Arabian Night side of it, I like it better than Alien. But Alien's got the IP name behind it. And a cool stress mechanic.
And after a while of Psycho Ghost listening, he said, you can make a complete campaign just staying on the space station. Yeah, you can. It's friggin' huge. It's huge. So much intrigue can fit in just the ring, not just the hub or the spire or anything. Jesus, just the promenade itself will give months and months, if not years, of different gameplay.
Yeah, you could work business dealings. You could play an intrigue game. You could play criminals from the cellar. You could play. I mean, there are so many things you could do. I think most people would want to be out in space, but yeah, there are a ton of things. You could run an entire Babylon 5 Deep Space Nine type thing going on here. I mean, you wouldn't be in charge of it, but it'd be more like Lower Decks. Sorry to use that reference. I know it's a horrible show, but you could be that part of it. All types of stuff. 500,000 people in here. That's a major city. Okay, it's not New York City, but it's a major city.
Yeah. Then we have L Says, take the kids' college fund and make them work at McDonald's. That was the suicide tax.
Oh,
Yeah, that was for the suicide tax. Yeah. Yeah. So suddenly your child, boy or girl, 17 years old, about to become an adult, but you decided that you wanted to borrow $500,000 burr, blow through it all on hookers and blow, and then kill yourself. And now your kid has to work at McDonald's, and half the pay is going to repay the loan.
I'm for that. Believe it or not, I'm for that. I'm not for the kid having to pay the debt off if the kid was 10 years old. But I'm for, sorry kid, sorry you lost your college fund. Blame your dad. I'm okay with that because the kid still can do everything else in life.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Nerdy Ogre. You two are starting to sound like Ferengi when we were talking about commerce and all that stuff, and we were on the business section, and
I take that as an insult. I hate the Ferengi.
The Ferengi are just the consummate business / professional / shenanigans.
I think that they're just clown shoes. I like the original Ferengi, when they were first portrayed. In the next generation, it was a season 1
as basically technologically adept apes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just kind of wild. Well, I'm sure there was more behind them than that. I preferred that to being the cartoonish nonsense that Quark was.
No, fair enough. Kevin says, I only showed up for the last 10 minutes, but it was enough.
I don't know how to take that.
I'm going to take that in a good way.
Yeah, I'm going to take that in a good way too. Okay. Well, he had another comment up there about not liking the game system, but he's wrong.
Chill Gamer says, Coriolis just sounds really interesting. I want to read sci-fi novels over the universe, not just play the TTRPG. Then I would do both. Get a story focused game master, and you can make your own novel.
Yeah, this is actually, you know what? If there were novels about Coriolis, I would read them.
Yeah.
One to get
there should be, right? There's novels about every other thing. I mean, I've got a Werewolf the Apocalypse novel. I've got a Mage novel. I've got a Shadowrun novel. I've got all those things. Why isn't there a Coriolis novel?
I don't think Free League has any novels that I'm aware of.
That's weird.
For any of the games.
Market resource right there.
Yeah, maybe. I think it'd be interesting to see how Coriolis is presented in that. It would help me because one of the things I do, honestly, if a game system has a novel and I'm going to run the game, I tend to read the novel. As you've heard me say 100 times, I'm a spirit of the law person over the letter of the law. And reading a novel, I get into people's heads. I get into the descriptions. I get, oh, so this is how that's done. I thought it was something, this way instead of that way. Because I like to present things with the proper feel, so to speak. So I would absolutely read a novel for this game to help support that.
Okay. And that is it.
Cool. All right. I guess with that then, I hope you guys enjoyed this Coriolis series. Apparently most people have. So that's a good thing. Next week, barring anything changing our schedule, which I don't think so, is going to start Forbidden Lands. I've had a ton of people tell me I got to cover Forbidden Lands. Why haven't you covered Forbidden Lands? Where's Forbidden Lands? Well, I wanted to break up Mutant Year Zero, which is post-apocalyptic-ish, and then a pure fantasy game with Coriolis. Also, Coriolis had the 3 actions per round, which is different than the other games. There were some differences in this, and I wanted to show the differences before I went back to something that's similar. But there are also differences with Forbidden Lands, and you guys are going to make me learn advanced combat because I don't do the advanced combat in Forbidden Lands. But for you fine folks out there, we're going to talk about using the dumb cards in the game and the advanced combat. So hopefully you look forward to that. Subscribe, you bastards who make him do these things. There you go. Well, now that he's called you names on RPG Digest, thank you very much for watching this, and definitely look forward to seeing you guys next week.